Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. This is your Sunday night show. I'm Gavin. I'm joined by Keith, Emma, and Shawnee as the international break is nearly over. Nearly over. We have a couple of days to wait now before the Reds are back in action in the Merseyside derby, and 9 games to go in the league. 12 points clear, and I'll get on to the lads later and ask them exactly how they're feeling about all that. But there's only one place we can start. I've had me say on it during the week when we done a show on it, so it's open to the lads here today. I'm just going to sit here and relax. And it is the situation with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, the three contracts are still up for debate, I suppose, with Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. But the big news early last week was Trent Alexander-Arnold, and breaking news that it looks like he will join Real Madrid on a free transfer at the end of the season and will leave Liverpool. Keith, I was thinking about this earlier and I thought, do we break this down into three things? This footballing sense, the transfer sense, and then Trent himself, that sort of way. Let's start in a footballing sense. I've seen clips of Trent, going back years. I want to do this and I want to do this at Liverpool, I want to do that at Liverpool, and dreams change, I suppose. But in a footballing sense, where are you on it? He's leaving Liverpool, more than likely leaving Liverpool. It looks like he'll go to Real Madrid. He'll leave as a 2-time Premier League champion, bit of luck. But in a footballing sense, Keith, do you hold anything against Trent Alexander-Arnold for going and trying Real Madrid, trying Spain, trying to win more trophies, whatever it might be? And it just happens that he feels he has to leave Liverpool and go and experience this. On a footballing side, where are you on this?
Yeah, I mean, probably no issue when I'm wanting to try something new as such. We take our Liverpool blinkers off. We can sort of say, Real Madrid are the biggest club in world football, and he goes there with his little mate, Jude Bellingham. He'll go there and win trophies. In that sense, it is what it is. Players don't owe fans anything, and they don't owe the clubs anything. Clubs will move players on if they're not doing the business for them. So, it's always, different when it's a player that you want to be keeping or don't want to lose. But at the end of the day, like, he wants out. So as far as I'm concerned, get him gone. I've He wants to go to Real Madrid. He'll have an easier time at Real Madrid initially, I'd say. He won't be getting the media scrutiny, which is starting to turn now that he's leaving Liverpool. We're seeing a softening of a lot of opinions on him. Ultimately, I look at it and say he's been a part of the great Jurgen Klopp team, and we've said all along, if we win leagues under these lads, they can go. They don't owe us anything. When the time's coming, we roll back a bit on that, and are saying, "Oh no, they do owe us. We don't want to go." The only stinger with the Trent thing for me is that he leaves for free. That club get nothing for him. I think this has been manufactured by Trent for years. I think signing a 4-year contract was telling a few years ago. I think he's always had a plan that he wants to go and try something new, which, look, again, fair enough. If he signed the 4-year contract a few years ago and stunk the gaff out, we'd be drumming him out and wouldn't have a problem with it. Kev said the only disappointment is we don't get a fee. That's how I feel on it, realistically. We don't get a fee for him. We lose an asset for free. But ultimately, Liverpool will survive. Liverpool will be stronger when Trent goes. Trent will have a lovely time. He'll get a bit of the sun like I got today. And
people are inquiring, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, look, unlike when Rodney Trotter got locked under the sun machine and only fields and horses, when Dell cranked her up to blade and 10, I got a bit of sun today. It is what it is. I'm like a pepper army. Deal with it. But I think he'll have a good time over there with his mate. He want to play it. I think whether we like to believe or not, we all believe Liverpool to be the be-all and end-all, but Real Madrid is a huge club. He'll go there and compete for Champions Leagues. Yeah, just sick we don't get a fee. Other than that, I don't have an issue with it because I'm not trying to be revisionist here. He's a great player with the ball, passer, playmaker and all that. I wouldn't mind seeing us not getting attacked down the same side every single time and our right back strolling when we're under counter attacks. But look, that's a little dig maybe. But yeah, ultimately, The only issue we have is we don't get a fee. Other than that, it is what it is.
Emma, like, there is three things to this for me. It's definitely like, he's gone and he wants to do something else in football. The fact that a lot of people feel that he signed a 4-year deal, and this has been in the pipeline, I suppose, for probably 18 months, at the very least. And we all know, we kind of know what role Real Madrid will play in that. They have form for it. They're very good at it. They've built a huge part of their side in bringing in players for nothing in terms of transfer fees. But not getting a fee from Liverpool, you can argue, is that the player, should the club have been stronger, whatever it is. And then you have the third part of it, which I suppose is as people would call it, Trent's legacy. Where are you on all three?
I think he's fucked it, to be honest. I don't think anybody, and I listened to your show on Friday, and I think you were dead right. I don't think anybody would have had an issue if he had come out last summer and said that he feels he's won everything he can at Liverpool. He fancies a new challenge, that kind of stuff, and that he'll be leaving at the end of the season. He'll give his best, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If he had come out and actually said it. But what he's done is, to go back on Keith, is he's teed this up from 4 years ago, so that he's leaving in his prime. And I think he has sold his legacy. And I know Shawnee will probably maybe disagree a bit, because we've been going back and forth, all of us, on WhatsApp all week. I think what he's done is he's gone and he's sold his legacy now at Liverpool for a signing on fee. And that's, come here, look, it's a short career and whatever. But he seems to have shown more loyalty to Real Madrid than he has done to Liverpool, because they are what made him. I know Klopp made him. Like, they've given up the career he's had so far, and he's literally just let it run down. And to me, I know Michael Owen kept saying that he was gonna sign a deal. Trent has never said anything, but he literally has let this run down. To go to, if you believe what's being said, that Real Madrid said it's you run it down or you don't come at all. And basically, he's put them and himself ahead of Liverpool, by not allowing us to get a fee. He probably doesn't give a shit, to be honest with you. And I think that's what probably hurts Liverpool fans is that, like, once a red, always a red, all that kind of stuff. And I think he's probably tainted his legacy at Liverpool. What, like Keith mentioned it there, he's gonna go to Spain and compete for Champions Leagues. What happened to the winning trophies, which our boyhood club is the best thing, and if you could win X amount of, it means more to win with Liverpool, and like Real Madrid are basically the Spanish Man City, like, and he only said that, what was it, this time last year, about winning trophies with Liverpool. I just think he's kind of nearly tied himself up in knots, and he's probably created a rod for his own back in how he's spoken in the past about wanting to stay at Liverpool, wanting to be captain of Liverpool. And it was a little bit of a kick in the teeth when he did that sticker thing on Sky, when the girl said, "I thought you said you wanted to captain Liverpool," and he said, "Oh, I've already done that." Probably in one-off games here and there. Whereas being captain of Liverpool is being club captain, and that's it. It's not for a game here or there. So he's
Yeah, he'll
not
never
really
be
done.
remembered as a captain. Like Jose
No,
Enrique
look,
captain Liverpool, for fuck's sake.
the unfortunate thing is that, like, and I'm not saying that he should have. There was different ways of doing this. I think he could have got out of Dodge and maybe kept his legacy intact. But what has gone on, or what has transpired now in the last while is, I don't think we were probably ever negotiating with him. I think he had his heart set on this. Again, I read something where it was as far out as November 2023. This was on the cards. So people saying that Klopp leaving, whether Klopp spoke to him individually before speaking to all the players, I would doubt it. But I don't think it's a case that Klopp goes, he's going to go. Maybe feeds into it a little bit. But I just think, I'm not saying he's been ill advised. Like, it'd be hard to turn down 70 million or 50 million euro, whatever the talk is of the signing on fee. but he's accepted less money per week than he was apparently offered at Liverpool.
But
So to me, it's and to be honest, and I know again, Sean is going to disagree with this because he disagreed with me all week.
that's allowed.
No, but I want to
No,
ask.
can I just say, like, he's turned down more money from Liverpool. So
I want to ask the three as a question.
Would you credit that? Would you credit? Sorry, Shani, just for 1 sec. I'd actually give him a bit more credit there on that, because if he's been on for 350
more money than he was getting at Liverpool. He's getting 70 million.
I understand. He's turning down a less of a basic or whatever it might be, but it's 150. If you believe the numbers out there, I mentioned 70 million the other night, and a guy in the comments afterwards ate me over and said, no, it's not 70 million. That's the numbers that's being bandied about, right? If it's 40 million, right, and it's a £100 million deal for him, right? And Liverpool aren't going to pay him £100 million over 5 years. They just aren't. You know what I mean? No. Because Real Madrid are in a position where they can, because they're not paying a transfer fee. You know, I hear what you're saying, and I can see the footballing side of it. I can see the financial side of it. I absolutely can. I'm with you. Yeah, we've all had, like, not arguments. We've had discussions all week over this in an adult kind of way. It's just, I think some people are about the fee. Some people are like, what about playing for Liverpool? And some people are like, yeah, but the way you've done it. Now I know what question Shawnee's going to ask, so go ahead, Shawnee. Or maybe I don't. Go on, Shawnee.
No,
you ask the question.
You don't know what I'm going to be.
Is the question why didn't Keith wear the SPF today?
No,
that's a question.
Are you trying to tell me that the only way a player's Liverpool legacy can remain intact if they leave on the club's terms?
No, I don't think so. No.
So then what are you doing?
I think a local player has a different onus.
He's leaving on his terms.
Again, this is what I mean.
Whether we agree with it or not, I do genuinely think a local player has more at stake with a legacy than.
And that's the only thing that
it's the emotional side of it with the fans.
The only thing Trent is guilty of here is being from Liverpool.
Yeah, I think, but you've said there, like, you know, do you only keep your legacy if you leave on the club's terms? No, I think is the absolute answer to that. I think Trent's leaving on his terms. Yeah.
Well, we called Coutinho a cunt. We called Suarez a cunt.
Yeah.
We called Torres a cunt.
Yeah.
All of these players. We didn't want Alonso wanted to stay. Nearly got sold at Arsenal. Went in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to be honest with you, I think
like, if you go back, just take Coutinho for argument's sake.
I think.
Sorry, Shawnee's gone a little bit there. If you take Coutinho for argument's sake, right? It always seems to be when you look at these situations across, you know, various players. It's more the way you leave the club. I don't think people have a problem when you leave a football club. And Shawnee's made a very good point all week. He said to us, look, lads, how many players actually come out and say they're going to leave? The answer, probably none. The last one I can remember Liverpool is Firmino, right? Who did come out and said, I won't be staying, I won't be signing the contract. He didn't want to negotiate with anybody else until his contract with Liverpool was up. And that's fine. I think, you know, and Shawnee makes the point there that you know, it's sorry, I'm losing Shawnee here now. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I'll see if I can get Shawnee back in. Shawnee's making the point that, you know, leaving on the club's terms. I think Trent's absolutely leaving on his own terms, and he's every right to leave on his own terms. There's no doubt about that. But for me, if leaving on your own terms is absolutely fine. But you will get people because he's Trent and because it's this, and to be fair, because he's from Liverpool, does add a dimension to that. But maybe I don't think I'm right or wrong on this, but I think further down the line, I think it might hit Trent further down the line as to I probably went the wrong way around that. Now, he's not doing anything that no one else has ever done before. He's doing everything that people have done before, but I think it might hit him later on where he goes, I've probably went the wrong way about that. on going
I
home to Liverpool or
don't,
whatever I'm
because I'm
doing,
telling
and
you,
I'm just not revered in the way I should be revered at the club.
doesn't
And
give a
some of that's
fuck.
down to people, and some of that might be down to him. I think that's the way.
He
I
won't
think that's
care
where
the
we are.
way he's revered. Like,
Maybe, yeah, possibly.
like honestly, the writing has been on the wall of this fella for fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking about one thing I do definitely disagree with what you said, Emma, was that fucking Real Madrid are just a Spanish Man City. That's rubbish for the start. There's no comparison. But the writing has been on the wall of this fella for time. Like, and that's the reason why I'm sort of kind of in Keith's boat right now. The only thing that does annoy me about is that we're not getting a fee. But that's just fucking that's life. That's football. But he came
That,
out
that,
and
that,
said
that was my point, is that
he
he should
literally
be
came
trying to
out
look after the club.
he literally came out and said, "No, I'd rather win a Ballon d'Or than win a World Cup." Like, the shite he's came out with, he hasn't. Like, I don't think, to be honest with you, there would have been 0 point to him coming out at the start of the season to say he's going at the end of the year. Because as soon as he had a bad performance, he would have been nailed to a fucking cross by fans, opposition fans, any cunt who has a microphone on Talksport and Sky. And it would have been to the detriment of not only to him, but to the team. And so there was never a fucking snowball's chance in a microwave that he was going to come out and say he was going at any stage, in my opinion. Like, Trent's been a dickhead for the longest time. I'm saying it the longest. He's smelling himself fucking a long time. And to be honest with you, I think he fits Real Madrid like a glove. And as good as his technical ability is, I actually don't want players like Trent around the club,
Yeah.
no matter what anyone said. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest with you,
No.
I think people need to, and people are more than entitled to their own opinion. But I actually think, like, for me, nobody's actually copping on here to what's gone on, and I'm delighted, to be honest with you, because I think we've dodged a heavy bullet. Because if there's a fucking world where Liverpool are paying this fella 320 grand a week to be a right back,
Yeah.
look, I don't know what football club that's for. PSG or Man City might do it. We shouldn't be doing that. There's not a right back in the history of the game. There's probably only one defender in the history of the game with Naomi Master in the terms of that, and it's the fella in the fucking picture there who we should be signing up, and hopefully
Yeah.
do sign up. We would have been fucking, if the talk is true of the money we offered him, it's bonkers, it's crazy,
Yeah.
and it's completely out of control. The other side of it is, I reckon the only club he leaves Liverpool for is Real Madrid. That's the God honest truth. I don't think there's another club in the world who probably could have swayed him to go there. And Madrid knew that and literally said, okay, well, if you want to come to us, you'll come on our terms. And it's as simple as that. And we'll see it in 2025. And it's exactly what happened. They've done it with Mbappe, they've done it with Rudiger, they've done it with Alaba. I'm telling you now, for they might deal with Alexis McAllister, they might deal with Ibu Konate, they might deal with William Saliba, because that's what they're able to do when you're the big fish.
Yeah.
You're Real Madrid. You need to think about it. I always, perspective is everything in this. Our Liverpool fans, well, we're in their right to be annoyed, totally. But think of Trent's perspective. He was thinking to himself, as Klopp goes out the door, I'll be going out before him or shortly after him. And what am I going to win at Liverpool that I haven't won already?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well,
Everything. Okay, so let's, at the prime of my career, go and play for Real Madrid, who are, whether we like it or not, because I fucking hate them. To be totally honest with you,
Yeah,
I
I
hate
so.
them. I can't stand them. I don't like them at all. Don't like their fans. I don't like the way they go on. But they're the best team in the world. He's the best right back in the world. That's facts, in my opinion. I still have him as the best. The thing is, he sees himself going there and furthering his image. Forget about Liverpool for a minute. Trent has been about Trent for a while now, and you got caned out of it for saying shit like that on shows about him. Lads, he's been smelling his shite for the longest, and People turning around saying they wanted them to come out at the start of the season. Remember when the whispers were coming out in January and we played United? Remember the state of them. And remember the state. Imagine that since August. It would have been untenable. You wouldn't be able to play him. He would have been unplayable. And
Yeah.
he's
But
too.
what is allowed now, though, Shawnee, is all of the talk in the background and FSG. This is FSG's fault. This is FSG's fault.
But it is FSG's fault.
I don't know.
How? Because
if it's not really, I don't think you can say. I don't think, in fairness, right?
The club has been in shite.
Yeah, but hold on, Shawnee.
In the background,
the club can be whatever they want. We can't turn around, right? And listen, we've all had discussions privately and on this show about FSG and what they've done and the background and your man in Ibiza, and we made a bit of a joke about him. But I don't think we can turn around and presume, right, off the back of reports, right, whether you feel that they're reliable or not, that Trent has looked at this since 2021, looked at it over the last 18 months, most definitely looked at it when Klopp leaves, and turn around and go, well, this is down to FSG. Because, to be fair, he signs a deal in 20... But hold on. He signs a deal in 2021.
I'm not talking about money or trophies around. I'm talking about the people who oversee the background and the fucking the project and the structure of the club.
The only mistake I think they've made is if they knew he had his heart set on this, right? The only mistake I think they should have made was, right, if they knew, at hindsight's a great thing, but if they knew that this was how it was going to play out, they probably should have turned last summer and went, listen, we've offered Trent Alexander-Arnold a deal. There's 1 year left on his contract. We're open to a sale. And to be fair, they would have got hammered for that. They would have got hammered for it. They'll get hammered now. He'll get hammered now. He'd have got hammered if he'd opened his mouth last year. They'd have got hammered if they opened their mouth last year. So no matter what you do, people are going to get hammered over this. But for me, if we're going to presume that this guy has it in his head for a year, 2 years, whatever it might be, and has literally went, my heart's set on that, Real Madrid are setting the rules and I'm playing by them, I don't know what more Liverpool as a football club can do. Unless they sell him last summer.
The structure in the background has lended to the shite that we're in now. Not just with Trent, with the three of them. I'm not talking about not offering them a contract or not offering them enough money. That's not what I'm saying about FSG. I'm trying to say the shite that led the Klopp burning out because he too much fucking power in the first place. That's just a fact. Like it's not. It's
like
not.
Brian in the chat says it's negligence.
It's not a coincidence that Klopp, but they FSG backed Klopp over the.
They did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
And I agree with what you're saying. That led on to everything.
Yeah, you had Ward walked out 9 months after. You'd Ward walked out 9 months after, and then man Schmacker comes in, who's Klopp's mate or a fucking summer, and then Klopp's off because he can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
and he was literally only into spying players, wasn't it?
It's a series of unfortunate events, and it's landed us now with the shite that we're in, and that's why I sympathise with Richard Hughes, because like he's totally inherited that. He has totally.
I'd hold the club more responsible for the Van Dijk and Salah stuff.
Yeah.
Because they've openly said they want to stay, and this feels a bit like the club. At this moment now, the club are holding out and making a decision. If the players have said, and I've said loads of times, there's two sides to the story. Is one making ridiculous, requests with regards to money or lengths of contract, whatever, and the other one doesn't want to budge, maybe. But the longer this goes on, it feels like the club is delaying, for me, to make a decision on these when they shouldn't really, right? Brian says it's negligence for by FSG allowing 100 million asset to run down his contract and leave for nothing. The player is running down the contract, not the club.
In this instance,
the thing is, I would hold FSG. If the word came out that FSG knew last June that this player has no intention of signing the contract, he's going to run it down.
He's not sellable though,
right?
He wasn't sellable.
He's not sellable, but I think if you come out as a club and say, listen, he's not signing a deal. He's not signing a deal.
Yeah,
just to let you know, he's not signing a deal.
The exact same with Trent coming out in the summer and saying,
"Yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Right? I completely agree with you. But if you're going to hop on FSG, I think where you go back to was probably a year ago. Well, not a year ago, whatever it is, 10 months ago. That's where you go back to with FSG. We don't know how far we have to go back with Trent. We really don't. You know, the sort of.
I sort of agree with what Shawnee is saying about FSG in the sense that the background went to shy, and that was what Liverpool was built on.
Oh yeah, it did.
But I don't really hold them responsible for that in a way. I think they gave Klopp too much power, and that sort of went tits up. And then with the transfers, I agree with the Virgil and Mo thing. That to me is the club. Trent has always, in my opinion, reading between the lines, and look, I'm not a fucking mind reader, but reading between the lines, I think he's always sort of been planning this. Shawnee said it, Real Madrid's modus operandi is to get the players they want and to run down their contracts, so they won't pay for superstars anymore. They'll give them superstar wages, but they won't give a fee as well. After they got burnt with Hazard was probably the last one. You know, they'll pay money for players and put them on decent wages, but they won't pay superstar wages, superstar fee.
But look,
But
Brian comes back and sorry, just Brian comes back and he says the fact he didn't sign a deal 12 months ago is enough to sell him, Gav. We can't let him run it all the way down. We can't make him go anywhere. You can take 100 million off Saudi last June for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he goes, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's him that has the contract.
It's impossible. People don't seem to understand that. It's impossible. You cannot sell a player. PSG tried to do it with Mbappe. PSG tried to do it with Mbappe, didn't they? Yeah, exactly. It is like the NBA when you can just trade and you've no.
You can't just turn around and say to a fella, you're living in Dallas next week. To be honest with you, in the same sort of like way, I actually think the club are playing a blind that way, Virgil and Mo, because people are turning around about all this. Where are they gonna go? There's only one place on earth that are giving the boys the money that they're on now, and it's Saudi, and neither of them want to go.
Yeah,
PSG have gone away from fucking doing that. Then you can see what they're
holding. They're younger, hungrier players, more potential, and possibly sell on.
Real Madrid won't give Van Dijk the money he's getting now. Nobody will.
Barca will sniff on free transfers. That's all they can really do.
Yeah, but Barca can't pay the wages because that fucking they couldn't register on 90 grand a week or whatever they're giving them. So I think, to be honest with you, I think the club have been clever in a way about that. But just going back to Trent, look, we've all known. The last thing I'll say on it is there a world where next season Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't play by Liverpool and Liverpool are a better team? I think yes, infinitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the truth. Whatever way you go about replacing him, I think he can be replaced. But if you ask me, is there a world where Liverpool next year are better without Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah? I'd say no, absolutely fucking not. You can't. It's impossible. So that's kind of my way of looking at it. So I'm not as upset because I was probably upset about Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's kind of I'm all right with it. I don't really like the legacy thing. I don't give a fuck. I don't remember the last time I thought about a Liverpool player's legacy. That's the God honest truth. That's just me. Look.
Gerrard, I think when
Gerrard was loyal to the club and he was kicked to the curb by fucking Brendan Rodgers at the nearest possible time. Like, you know what I mean? That's football. It can't be the other way. Like, you can't be turning around and saying Trent's this, Trent's that. Like, what about the 30-odd lads from the Liverpool Academy who've probably been there since the age of 6, who are told in the coming weeks, I'd imagine, coming up to the end of the season, come here, lads, it's not worked out. Your YTS is over and that's it, you're done. You're gone.
So doesn't Trent have some sort of foundation for those players as well?
It works both ways, and it's the side of it you don't see. And the reason why we're not annoyed about that is because them lads haven't come through the academy already, won everything, talked about how much it meant to them, and then left. Like a lot of the quotes I'm saying, and I think Melissa Reddy was a bit of a fucking, I think it was a bit of a scumbag move from her, to be honest with you, including the quotes about him saying the Bayern Munich thing in the interview. He said that when he was about 20 years of age. That interview was from when he was about 20. It was from the year after we won the Champions League. And I think that's fucking bang out of order. Because I don't know about you lads, but I was a completely different person at 26, 27.
Dreams change, lads. Listen, dreams change. We all dream about being footballers. And now my dream is to drive across America and play golf.
You all know.
They all change.
You call a spade a spade. You all know. I think Trent's a prick. And I have for the longest time. But in this instance, I think he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. It's as simple as that.
I agree with you, right? But just to finish it off, just to go around the table, right? looking on, my only thing I think about this is, and it's actually a concern for me for Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's not me going, he fucking, we all hate him. It's not like that at all. It's more of a concern I have from, because when I look at the footballing side of it, he's come through the academy. He's been fucking brilliant. Goals, assists, unbelievable. All the trophies you can think of, right? I think he's won every, bar the Europa League, I think he's won every trophy he's entered with Liverpool. I could be wrong. There might be something else that he didn't, right? But brilliant footballer, and should be remembered as what he was for Liverpool. Again, I go back to it. I think just the way this has worked out, and to be fair, there's probably, what way does he do it? It's hard to do it. Like, I agree with you, Shawnee. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I get that, but I feel that he won't be remembered. He will be remembered for what the footballer he is, but I just think the way this has gone down, I think it will taint the way people's forced thoughts. Do you know what I mean?
Steve McManaman isn't remembered the way he should be remembered.
No, and because, but to be fair, yeah, I know, and the thing is, but it's always a case of he left on a free. Coutinho said his back was hurting and tried to get out. Suarez done a 4-page fucking spread and was like he's in solitary confinement to go to Arsenal.
I don't think you can compare it with the foreign players. I think you have to look at the local players.
Maybe there is a thing. Maybe there is a thing. I think it's more the profile as well. If there's a player that's a middle of the road player and he's leaving on a free, you kind of go whatever. You know what I mean? But it's when a really important one, and when you double it down with a local thing. I think
none of us shed a tear when Naby Keita ran down his contract and left.
No, we didn't. Emma, I think that's what you definitely and me as well, we're trying to get at during the week. It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But the way it's gone down, I think people's first thoughts on Trent might be, but remember that, rather than Leicester away in 2019.
It's more of a disappointment thing, because we've been on shows before and we've picked up Liverpool's greatest 11 and all that kind of stuff, and we've said in the past that Trent maybe by the end of his career would be in there as the right back. I don't think he goes in, and I know he doesn't give a fuck, but I still think you probably have Phil Neal in there now, probably forever, until somebody better comes along. And the thing about the trophies and stuff like that,
we probably moved Phil Neal out to the car park selling batter sausages at the end of his career.
Selling in the McCartney sausages.
Phil Neal. There you go. You're either a Trent Alexander-Arnold who goes to Real Madrid and conquers world football, or you're John Barnes who sits in a Quorn van outside Anfield at 20 years after being the best player.
Couldn't fucking believe
it. That's what they say. Today's news is tomorrow's chip paper.
There you go. That's exactly.
I'm just more disappointed with the whole. I know what he said in the past. I know how long ago it was, and all that kind of stuff. And only last year saying that winning things with us is better. And it's just the only thing. Does he want and look, I'm being completely ignorant here, but is winning La Liga that big of a deal, or is winning the Premier League with Liverpool better?
But you see, I think
it's not like we struggle to get into the Champions League.
I get that, Emma, but you have to go back to something Shawnee said, and I think he's right when he said it, right? I'm completely on the same page with you, by the way, Emma. I think a player's gone in the past, local to the club, and you kind of go, they can't fucking, they're not even welcome at Anfield. They arrive, they might be doing media stuff. Whereas others where, to be fair, nowhere near as good as some of these players that left are, welcome with open arms by fans more than anything else, because of servant and the way it happened. And that's where Trent might go down. But Shawnee said something earlier, image. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And he's not wrong. The guy is about his image. He's about the Predators and being put in this bracket with the Gerrards and the Beckhams, and
he was that's what it is. He was walking around Monaco Grand Prix circuit in a pair of Prada dungarees. Let's be honest. Did you not see it? Let's be fucking real. Yeah. If he weren't winning trophies, you'd be thinking he's a fucking agent. He's lucky he can kick a ball. I'll say that much.
Yeah, but look, it's the chances are we're going to get to the end of the season, and there'll still be nothing officially said until the last day of the season. That's a really high possibility at this stage. He is injured at the minute. I don't see him playing for Liverpool again. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see him playing for Liverpool again. But, you know, end of the season, last day of the season, if we're crowned champions, he'll be there. You know, there's more to come in this, but we'll have to wait and see. But my biggest concern is down the road, does Trent look at that and kind of go, yeah, probably could have handled it a little bit differently. But if he's under the microscope of Real Madrid, who are demanding that this is the way it goes, it's his only opportunity to go and do what he thinks he wants to do.
The caveat of all, his brother's his agent, who's probably blown smoke up his hole to the nth degree as well. And you need to realise that. You know what I mean?
He also gets probably 10% of that 70 million.
Go again. And again, you know, like, the thing with football and these moves is like, is your head or your heart, or is your heart your ego? And to be honest with you, I just think Trent's ego is way bigger than his heart. And that's why I don't think we ever stood a chance of getting the fella re-signed after Madrid laid down the law with him in terms of what he wanted to do with himself. Look, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, come October, none of us will give a bollocks.
Yeah. Come the first game of the season, I won't even think
October is because you know where you kind of are in the middle of a season, or someone else comes in, you know what I mean? And you're thinking, this is grand. So,
anyway, on the football, 9 games to go in the Premier League. Liverpool, next 4 games, by the way, Everton at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away. They're your next 4, just to let people know. 12 points clear of Arsenal. As I said, 9 games to go, 27 points to play for. Keith, I'm going to start with you. 1, are you looking forward to this fucking football getting back? And 2, has the break kind of rocked the, positivity, the confidence, or is it just kind of, now bring it on, let's go? This is there to be won.
I actually think the opposite. I think the break probably came at a decent enough time for Liverpool. And
I mean more with you. It gives you too much time to think about it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I fucking hate international breaks. And now my new pet hate is this shite about FA Cup weekends where there's no Premier League football as well to accommodate bleeding a couple of games. That's a load of shite. But in this instance, I think it's benefited us. I think it's we'll get players back. I think Liverpool, the team, had a bad week 10 days before the break. They didn't perform against Paris Saint-Germain in Paris. They certainly didn't perform in the League Cup final. They didn't perform. They were okay in the second leg, but weren't great against PSG, and certainly didn't perform in the League Cup final. I think it's a case now of just get the band back together, no injuries, hopefully, get players back fit, and regroup and let the lads go. Our next game is Everton. I'm an Everton fan now.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm an Everton fan. I'm not a Liverpool fan anymore. I went to Goodison against Everton against West Ham.
Just to see the old lady won last time.
Oh, yeah. It was an experience. West Ham.
Oh, 1-1 draw.
West Ham fans were great. Yeah, West Ham fans were great. It's an awful stadium. Wooden seats, like, couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Splinter sitting on the thing. Their music, I do like their music, I have to say. Spirit of the Blues, probably my favourite football song of all time.
It's my favourite. If Top of the Pops was still going, I think it made number 1.
I mean, it's amazing. And then Z Cars, that bit of it I enjoyed. The football, my God, 22 minutes before the Everton fan even bleeding piped up to say anything. 85 before they start cheering for them. I'm sitting there thinking, like, nice one, another misplaced pass here that they're all going to start booing. I was there for the bill, and didn't materialise at all. But so I have a soft spot for them now, but it's more so for the music. But no,
they're a decent team. I heard that fans are still trying to get out of Bramley Moordock after that beat.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, they sold out the 2-man dinghies in the Catalan ahead.
If anyone's living in Liverpool, I'm telling you, there's a niche in the market for the water taxi business.
I'm fucking telling you. just a big, massive, long rope with a dinghy on the end. And we just pulled them across the dock, get out to safety. But Keith, you know, Davey there, the Newcastle fan. And by the way, Davey, I hope you enjoyed the parade. It looked fantastic, the Newcastle one. And anybody, by the way, that's going, oh, Newcastle having a parade for a Carabao Cup, stick it up your bollocks. They won a trophy. They're allowed to fucking celebrate it whatever way they
70
fucking
odd
want.
years.
But he says there's a title to be won, Keith. He should be like Coyle Springs. And it brings you back to Van Dijk, because when they lose the League Cup, before he goes off to international duty, he said, nothing is won yet. We have to work our asses off here for this. He kind of leaves a parting shot on the squad before he goes off to international duty. That's what we need to. That's what we should be expecting, Keith, isn't it? For Liverpool to come back and be absolutely on it. It feels a bit like when we come back after COVID. Remember, 1920, and funnily enough, the first game was against Everton at Goodison, but no fans in the ground. But it feels like Liverpool have a real chance to put this job, just do this job and do it quickly.
Yeah, they have a league to be the only, they can only lose it really from here. They just need to go on and start motoring and picking up the 3 points. Performances ultimately don't matter, but the performances have to improve from what they were before the break, because they looked flat, they looked devoid of energy, they looked shot, and they looked shattered. And if they continue with that going in, and they don't pick up points in a couple of games, then the nerves will start to kick in. But I just think the body of evidence that we've seen over the season, Liverpool have been the best team in the league. Liverpool have only lost one game in the league, I think, haven't they? Only one game.
They're 25 games unbeaten in the Premier League.
There's nothing to suggest to me that they will fall off a cliff. PSG are a good team, and I think, we've seen the evidence of that. We lost against a good team in the Champions League. We didn't sort of play to our full potential, but we weren't beaten by a team of bums. We were beaten by a good team. Newcastle wanted the League Cup final more than we did, and we looked jaded. So there's not excuses, but there's, reasoning behind the results before it. Now, the focus is all on one thing: to get over the line in that league. They need to start with Everton. The Everton one from the last one in Goodison, the shite that went on in that. They need to just go out and put everything else behind them and just go and play the game. And if they do that, I think they'll win. I hope to see players now stepping up. Players who have fallen off a cliff like lemmings before this international break. The likes of Diaz, the likes of Jota, the likes of Nunes, the likes of Salah. They were fucking playing woeful. So we need these guys to step back up. We need a fit Cody Gakpo back in. We need, I don't know if Ramadan affects Mohamed Salah, but it looks like it does, or it looks like it certainly did this time around. We need Mo Salah to start taking up the mantle again and putting teams to the sword. And if we see that from our players, we'll go and win this league. Players needed rests. Ryan Gravenberch came away from the Dutch camp with an injury that I'm still reading about. An injury when,
he came away from the Dutch squad with a knock.
He has an injury.
I think he went to the Dutch squad with a knock.
He got a knock in the cup final.
Yeah, I think he went with a knock. I think they assessed him and they sent him home.
Yeah, I think it's more a precautionary thing, and I think the rest will do him good. I just think Liverpool need to get back on it and focus on what it is, because I don't know if they feel pressure, but if they don't win the league from here, they'll be classed as the biggest bottlers of all time. So get the fucking League One and let's not worry about things like that.
When I've mentioned that 4 games because I feel like if Liverpool come out of that with maximum points, it's done. But if they come out of that with 10 points, I think they've avoided defeat against Arsenal at Anfield to be crowned champions. But Keith said something interesting there. If you draw at Everton and you draw at Fulham, and next thing it's what, be 8 points instead of 12, and there'll be 7 games left, and Liverpool don't want to get into that, don't you? As much as you'd still feel confident 8 points ahead with 7 games to go, Liverpool don't want to get into that. Liverpool's focus. All the players are back since I think Wednesday, so they've had a good. They will have had a good week. 5-6 days anyway to prepare for this. Liverpool will want to get out and get going fast here, and like many people have pointed out, they play after Arsenal. I think every game now or every week till the end of the season.
Pressure's on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we play better under pressure as well. I'd be a little bit concerned about I think we needed the break, but we don't tend to hit the ground running an awful lot after an international break, and this is a particularly long
But
international break.
the extended rest after the international games, I think, might be a factor.
Yeah.
We used to get McAllister
Well,
off
yeah,
and playing in fucking
Yeah.
John Lennon and bring him and start him.
go straight
You know,
to Anfield.
yeah,
Yeah. But we both us and Arsenal, we both play Fulham and Everton in our next two games. So look, I think we owe Everton one after what happened at Goodison. I think definitely Decore needs to watch himself if Endo comes onto the pitch, because he's probably going to get folded in half. But yeah, it's just hit the ground running. Doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't have to be full-blooded heavy metal football that like we've seen in flashes this season. I think just efficient. I think Ashley probably said it there. Doesn't need to be flashy. Just get the win. 1-0 off somebody's arse. Don't care. Just get the games won. But I think we match Arsenal, especially in their next 4 games. So I don't see Arsenal not dropping any more points. Will we drop points? We may very well drop points. As long as we can match what they're doing, I think we'll be fine. You don't want to be getting into the realms of 2 draws and then it being down to 6, and then squeaky bum
2
time
draws will
comes
get you
in.
down to 8.
Yeah, but no, if you continue to drop points, then you're getting into kind of nervousness. I think we have the experience in the squad for the people that have done it before. You've got Van Dijk, Allison. I know he came away from Brazil with a concussion, but that was over a week ago.
That'll be absolutely fine.
I think we have enough experience in the team. People that have been here before, people that have been in title races before, to get us over the line. I don't think we. I know Rory put up a poll in the Telegram about an hour ago. I don't think Arsenal get any more than any closer to us than the 9 points.
Okay.
And if anything, we probably extend the lead.
Okay. Shawnee, you've been one of the most confident around this Liverpool side, and well, double-edged sword it's been on a couple of fronts. It's been the fact that you feel Liverpool are the best team in the country, and the fact that it's Arsenal chasing them, and you don't rate them. To be fair, they're running at 2 points a game still, 30 games into the season, or 30 games into the season, 29 games into the season. Still feel the same as you did before this international break started?
Yeah, no. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to just the Premier League being back. Feels like one of them fucking international breaks that goes on for a long time. I'll take a bit of solace from the fact I think some of our players performed really well on international break. And probably players who are out of form or who are looking leggy for us. So, I'm very, very optimistic about the title. I always have been. I maintain again that I don't think there's some fucking magic sauce that Arsenal can take now that turned them into a 3.
Well, they're placing an awful lot, Shawnee. They're placing an awful lot on a player that you have said on numerous occasions you'd be amazed if he plays football again this season in Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't look.
But they're placing an awful lot of emphasis on the fact he may be back.
They were averaging more points per game without Saka than they were with as well. I just think the issue at Arsenal, it's not a personnel thing. Well, it is a personnel thing, but I think it's not a player issue with them. So I'm not really worried about Arsenal. They'd be lucky to get 80 points, in my opinion. And I just don't see a realm where Liverpool have lost 1 game in the league all season. Like, you can apply context to everything. We're well beaten by PSG over 2 legs. And when I say well beaten, it's literally the width of a post, Kwanzaa, from, do you know what I mean? Sending us through there. So that can happen. And then we seen what the win meant to Newcastle. And I don't mean that in a derisory way.
No, any club that's gone that long without a trophy,
Yeah,
it should mean
look,
something.
that we're in the means to do that, like 100%. But I just think on the day, energy and want, we were found wanting in terms of hunger and energy on that day, and they had that in abundance, and they have quality as well. There's no doubt about it. And even then, fucking, it was a tight enough game in the end. So I think you can apply context to everything. I don't think we were running out of gas. It didn't look like, I seen some people going, this looks like last year, this looks like last year. It doesn't. It
No.
doesn't. Like it didn't at all. But I think there was an overemphasis on how leggy the midfield as well looked at times, because I didn't really see it, to be honest with you. But the job's not finished, and the game's there to be won. And to be honest with you, if these boys can't get up for a fucking Merseyside derby under the lights, then they'd want to be having serious questions with themselves, because you shouldn't be in any title picture if you can't get up for a game like that. So no, I have to say I'm optimistic, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really thinking or looking at Arsenal at the moment, because I think they're going to be all consumed by them 2 games in Madrid, and they're going to find out the hard way just how far off they are, I think, from being where they need to be. And on top of that, they need to win the remaining 9 Premier League games.
Yeah. A lot
So-
of pressure comes with that.
Yeah,
No,
people are asking there. The
like-
Liverpool need 4 to win. The Liverpool 4 wins from Liverpool, which including
If we
one
get
of those
4
being against
wins at
Arsenal.
any stage between now and the end of May, we win the league.
4
That's
wins, 4 wins for us, and if you include a win against Arsenal at Anfield, in those 4, Liverpool are champions. That's
And,
basically what it is.
and the other side of it is, like, if you haven't if you find yourself worrying, like, just look at the proof is in the pudding in terms of how Arsenal have dealt with pressure under Arteta, and it's never been well. Like, this isn't a fucking title race. And I hear what you're saying about putting Arsenal on before. It's not that. It's just Sky want to make sure that they Liverpool win the league. They're just showing the game. That's all that is.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
true as well.
That's all. No, that's literally all it is. Sky just want to make sure, okay, whenever these fuckers win the league, we need to be the one.
Yeah.
We need to be the one showing it. It's not it's not put Arsenal before on them to put pressure on them. It's just not like they'll sell Arsenal's games to BT or TNT or whatever they're called, and Sky do one game on a Saturday now, don't they? Like, so they're just going, look, we want the Liverpool game. They're liable to win it fucking any day now. So just make sure we're there when it happens. That's simply all that is. That's how they operate. So now I'm looking forward to it. It feels like forever, and even then, fucking Wednesday still feels miles away.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
But, I seen people in the chat there saying that Bradley's back in training, which is good news.
You won't play Wednesday.
Well, he's back since Wednesday, according
Back
to
a week.
reports.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't
Apparently,
think he was back that long. Oh, well, then he's
Yeah.
playing Wednesday. Fair play to him.
yeah. So now, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to these. Like, it's just there's no breaks now, and there's football, and it's 1 game a week as well. I think we need to.
Yeah, I for me, like I'm
I think
looking
that's
at it.
huge. With
I
the
always
amount of
look- I always
detail
look
that
4
stuff
games ahead.
goes into it, I think a week's full preparation for most games. I think this is probably the last midweek game
It
he'll
is.
play, is it?
Yeah.
I think slot with 7 days preparation as well. I think he'll like that.
Yeah, I think.
Loads. And again, it's just fucking. And look, I'm pretty sure that Air players would prefer to be playing midweek against fucking Aston Villa, but
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes. Yeah, look, I'm buzzing for it. I'm buzzing for and you know what? I like seeing the Newcastle parade and all. Like, it made me a little bit horny, made me a little bit jealous.
That's all we're here for. Once we
yeah.
can get Shawnee horny on a Sunday night, that's all we're here for. Let's be
Yeah,
fair.
now it's fucking, it's high times. Enjoy it. Switch up all the shy fucking Mao's going to fucking having Waterlooville. Fucking Virgil doesn't know what he's doing, and Trent's already buying villas in Madrid. Just don't mind it. It doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't matter.
Enjoy the bleeding.
It doesn't matter. I think I'm terrible for this. I always look forward at the next group of 4. I can't get away from the next group of 4. No matter whether we're in August or we're in September or January and now March into April. I just do look at these blocks of 4 because I always feel like the first game get you on a good run for them 4. You know, like, do you remember when earlier on in the season when people were like, oh, look at Liverpool's next 10. Oh, they'll fucking lose all of them, you know. They lose 11 of their next 10 people were carrying on out of them. Yeah. And Liverpool just get a good win and it just momentum goes. And I agree with you. I think the way the squad is, the way it's been away, it's had a week to prepare. It'll play Wednesday, it'll play Sunday, and then it'll play, I think it's every Sunday till the end of the season. I think it's something like that. But the next 4, get your win on Wednesday. Fulham will be tough. If you go and win there, you're looking at West Ham and Leicester, and all I can think of is the next 4 constantly. But just the way the squad is shaping up, the players might want to play on the midweek, but I think the manager will be delighted that he's able to go, right, Monday morning, you can have Monday off, see you here on Tuesday, and we're going to build this up really nicely at our pace before we go to Fulham or before we go and play West Ham, before we go away to Leicester. He'll build at his pace rather than it being very reactionary as it has been for the last couple of months, because Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, wherever it might be, he's been like, and it's no excuse, like a lot of teams or all the teams in Europe, you're firefighting from one end of the week to the next because it's game after game and it's who's injured, who's not. For me, confidence wise, yeah, of course, I've all the confidence in the world in them. They've shown it throughout this season. You know, they're 25 games unbeaten in the league. You know, they've had a bad week for me with PSG and Newcastle, but these things happen. Loads of teams before us have had these things happen. But if you go and you bounce back from it, I think we win the league away at Leicester. I'm just throwing it out there. I think we win the league away at Leicester. But yeah, the players should be enjoying it. The players shouldn't be going into this with any nervousness. They should be going in going, this is ours, let's go and do it. Let's show everybody where we are. And I think, as much as we didn't like it, the last few results might be something that just eggs them on that little bit more. But they should absolutely ride the wave of positivity and the possibilities ahead of them, because we're talking about a player there that's leaving on a free, right? But you write yourself into Liverpool folklore when you become a league title winner. You just do. Because that's what Liverpool are about, winning league titles. They've always been about winning league titles. Everything else that comes after is, you know, the icing on the cake and all that. But there's so many players there. You look at your likes of Szoboszlai, your Endos, your Jotas, and so many more. We're only talking about Bradley. What a fucking season for him to come in and become a title winner. So they should absolutely ride this wave and go for it. And if they put in what they've put in so far this season, no, I don't think Arsenal get near us. I think it'll take something catastrophic for Arsenal to come near us, and I don't think Arsenal have the bullets in the gun to do it anyway. So that's where it is for me. But the next 4 is huge. But I didn't like Leicester at home or Leicester away, and I don't give a fuck where we win it. People going, I'd love Anfield, I'd love anywhere. Win in a car park for all I care. Before we go,
you just want to win it on the pitch, not like last time in a fucking hotel. It has to be in a stadium.
You
want them to.
And I'm sort of with Emma on that as well.
But that's only because of the lead we have. If we were 3 points clear, you'd be going, look, just let Arsenal lose on fucking Wednesday or Sunday. No.
I hope fucking Arsenal lose every game, but it means that we go and we play, and by winning that game, we secure the league. You want to play,
but that's all the way games fall.
Whether Liverpool win it in Anfield at Timbuktu, I'm going to be hanging out with some bar girls' ears in the Camden Street. Simple as that. Swinging her around with the listeners, saying we are the champions.
With the listeners. Right. Before we go, we've loads of shows coming this week. The shows were, they were quite, they were consistent throughout the international break. We've done a lot of stuff on our Patreon to get things going over there. But now to the end of the season, it's going to be bananas. The shows nearly every day of the week. Just some days have multiple shows. There's a mixture of free shows like this one on YouTube. There'll be ones on Patreon for members where there's live chat, and then there's pre-recorded stuff, which have been brilliant, by the way, the pre-recorded stuff. So if you're interested, in the description you'll see the link to Patreon. Because Shawnee said to me the other day, Gav, the amount of fellas right on Instagram getting on to me going, where's the Patreon? If you watch the show, click the description. Shawnee was very upset. If you click the description, it says, the fourth line says, join our Patreon. Try it for a month, see how you feel. We've gone through mad stuff. 86 World Cup, top goals here, top goals there. Keith done a show the other night me about Liverpool's best 11, but he had to pick goals from each position, which was fucking deadly. So if you're interested, go and check it out. It's been really good so far, and I promise you for the next 7-8 weeks it's going to get just, more and more and more stuff, and we bring it to you across all different ways. So Emma, anything else before we go?
Yeah, can I just ask, so there's 462 people watching.
Yeah.
Some of them have to have TikTok. Can they follow us on TikTok? What I'd like to do is, I'd like to get us to 1,000. If we get to 1,000 on TikTok, I think we can go live. And that means when we're absolutely upending the gaff over in Liverpool on the last weekend, I can go live.
Yeah, I'm going to.
If you want to see a live video of Shawnee swinging some board around by our
No,
listeners.
I don't mean personal moments. I mean for the parade and stuff like that. That I don't mean sitting in a pub and doing all sorts. Not that. I won't be on live for that.
If you would like to see live swinging by the listeners, give us a follow on TikTok.
Yeah, when I'm lifting, bleeding Vicky behind the bar and May Duncan's up by the ears like she's fucking the FA Cup.
Anyway, Keith, anything else before we go?
Yeah, quick one, right? So I was, as I said earlier, I was over in Liverpool at the Everton match. It was with the young lads football team. We went over for the weekend and we went into, Beer Keller in Liverpool 1 to watch the League Cup final.
Yeah.
So it was a sort of a schedule thing and we got dropped off and went in there. The place was bleeding rammed, big place was rammed. So walking into the place, right, and bumped into this fella, right, bumped into him. And not just because it was busy, it was packed, bumped into him. He turned around and he goes, "It's you." I says, "No, it's not." "It's you, isn't it? It's you. Are you on YouTube?" And straight away I says, "No." I says, "It's not me. I'm not the Irish baldy fella that does be on YouTube talking about Liverpool," because I was thinking and thought it was someone else, right?
Right.
I said, "Fuck off, it's not me." He goes, "It's Keith. It's Keith." I says, "Oh, it is Keith. Yeah, it is me." I says, "Right, so you're onto something here." So this fella, and I didn't catch it, 2 lads, didn't catch their names, right? But lovely fellas. They said they loved the show. They actually said that their father, Phil, 72-year-old from Halewood, listens every Monday morning to the show. He said he loves us, but he said he loves you, Keith. He loves you. They're trying to FaceTime the old man and all. He didn't answer. And I'm standing there walking into this bar, right? And there's loads of other parents of the football team standing behind me and they're looking, going, "What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. What
is happening?" But yeah, I got recognised over there. But I wanted to give Phil from Halewood a shout. Listens every Monday morning, goes on a walk, and I just said I'd give him a shout. I haven't been on one since then, so I said I'll give him a shout now, and I'm sure he listens. I didn't get his lads' names. Lovely fellas. Not when they thought it was someone else, but when they knew who I was, I'm like, yeah, okay, that'll do. But yeah.
No worries. You were doing a meet and greet in Beer Keller. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Come over here if anyone wants to say hello. Come over.
A half time you got on the mic and you went, "Listen, if anyone wants a picture or anything signed, I'm over at table 14 there."
Do you know what? Years ago, I was in one of the pubs in town, and Brendan Grace was there, right?
Yeah.
Scuttered. Absolutely fluted. Right. Came over and done... I've had my fun. That's all that matters, right? Done that, and everyone, we all gave him a cheer. People bought him a drink. Never left us alone for a fucking night. Kept coming over and doing it. Get rid of him. Get him gone.
Listen, Brendan, would you ever fuck off and annoy us?
Perfectly willing to be Brendan Grace in that situation, and nobody was buying drinks.
That's such a Dublin thing, isn't it? You meet someone famous, and then 5 minutes later, like, "Would you ever fuck off, Wayne?" We remember the time we met your man. Remember what was his name?
Speedo Mick.
Speedo Mick. We met Speedo Mick. Remember in Liverpool?
Yeah.
How are you, Speedo? So there you go. Shawnee, anything else before we go?
No, just keep down, put yourself down. You're way better looking than that other fucking idiot.
Well, when you think it's like, no, fuck off, it's not me, head down.
Lucky he didn't see you this week. The fucking heading you.
Stop there.
No, I'm good. Back to it. Back to it. Few shouts from the crowd today, actually, Shawnee, but I'm fucking, my family I like, so. But there was one lad stopped me in the yoke. Oh, you on tonight, am I? I know I'm braiding now my arse hair.
Oh, this is at the, sorry, Shawnee done the half marathon for anyone that doesn't know. He's done the half marathon in Dublin today. That's why he's. Sorry, go on. Few shouts
He's like,
today, was
yeah,
there?
you on tonight? Yeah. I goes, Chief, I can hardly string a sentence together at the moment. I'll see how I feel. Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And he just ran on now. But, yeah, Keith, don't do that again.
Yeah, Keith. Anyway,
Don't do it.
that has been the
Now,
talk.
that's it. Fucking buzzing now. Football back on yoke on Wednesday. So,
Roll on.
great.
Roll on
Great
Wednesday.
gear. Great gear.
As I said, loads of shows this week. Like, subscribe, comment. Check out the Patreon if you feel like it. And we'll be bringing you loads of stuff throughout this week, next week, all the weeks, right up until the end of May. That has been the Talkin Kop. Thanks for being to Keith, to Emma, to Shawnee. I've been Gav. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.